Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Friday Night Comics. How's everybody doing? Yep. Exciting night out, I hope.
How's everybody?
Left the speaker on. Hang on. That's what happens when you pay attention to what you're doing. Let's see who's in the chat. We've got Oki, how you doing? Hazmat, Otho May, Old Guy Gamer, Duck Dog, TOS, Buster, Random American, Nobody Not Me, Raziel, Sherry. How you guys all doing? Not one of the people with the mask tried to stab you. That's probably a good day, Random. But, you got to go to a crystal lake if you want to get stabbed at. Hey, Evil One. Hey, Lesser. Hey, Sean. Hope you're all doing well. May need to yell at a neighbor. You going to tell him he's awesome? Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, I have to find an article real quick, and then we'll get right into the article dive because it relates to the article I want to cover first. But in the meantime, there is the pin tweet. Camp Crystal Lake, that lazy bitch doesn't travel, right? Hey, Sean. So give me 1 second to find where I stored this article. And we will be on our way. You think I would have had them all ready, but I didn't. And it would help if the internet would cooperate. So, yep, not a whole bunch of articles today, but some of these are fairly long. I am going to talk about more than just Robin, but I needed a clickbait title. It's not really clickbait either, because we are going to talk about that. Hey, Meryl. Done the usual, thank you. Wonderful. Hey, Costin, how you doing, man? Yeah, so Gay Robin. We'll get to that a little later. That's actually not going to be the first topic, or even the primary one. Something else dropped that is causing some controversy. No, Inquisitor was not happy with the whole thing, but we'll talk about that. DC is so it's so much worse than you think, too. Oh, man, every month it gets worse and worse and worse. Stupid pop-ups. Always making me mad. Cats are not evil. They are chaotic neutral. They are evil when it suits them. And every other time they are good. As long as they're well fed and loved and adored and praised, they are fine. But if you do not praise them appropriately, you may face their wrath. All right, tweets out. Like, share, subscribe, share on your social media, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the drill. That's close. I'm probably going to get to shilling. But the pinned tweet does have the Streamlabs if you want to donate. Not expected, but always appreciated. And once I get rid of this other browser, should be good to go. Cat farts all the time. You might want to change his food. Cats have so much patience for their human servants. That's a fact. Boy, they get bitchy too. They always complain about the service, no matter how fast you are. All right, let's get into this. The first article is actually an older one that I had forgotten to do several streams back. So we're going to touch on it now. Because I forgot about this, and I found it late even. It was a bit of a surprise, but one of the stars of Pee-wee's Playhouse died. And they just released his cause of death back in June. So Jambi left the earth some time ago. And according to this, severe alcohol abuse played a role in the death of John Paragon, who was known by the beloved blue-faced genie Jambi on Pee-wee's Playhouse. According to the coroner, Paragon died on April 3rd from cardiovascular disease with significant conditions of chronic alcohol abuse. He was only 66. The actor was known for his genie chant of the iconic words "Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heiny Ho." Was found dead in Palm Springs, California residence about 6 p.m. He played the role for nearly 5 years, from 86 to 91, and wrote several episodes, earning an Emmy nomination for Best Writing in a Children's Special. Born in Anchorage, Alaska, Paragon got his big break as a member of the groundbreaking Groundlings improv group, which made stars out of fellow Pee Wee Herman alum Paul Rubens, as well as Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Will Ferrell, Maya Rudolph, and many more. So he's been around a lot of pretty famous people. Through the 1980s, Paragon also appeared in a number of feature films, including The Frog Prince, 1986, Weird Al Yankovic's UHF from 1989, and the cult cannibalism classic Eating Raoul from 1982. Very overrated film. I did not care for it. I thought it was stupid. It was later seen making cameos on Seinfeld. I'm so sad at this terrible news, wrote former Saturday Night Live star Julia Sweeney. I didn't know him well, but I admired him greatly, and he was deeply loved with so many who knew him. Sad for Groundlings, sad for comedy, very, very sad. Rip John Paragon. So yeah, Jambi passed away from the booze, and that's kind of tragic. Or a terrible autoerotic asphyxiation accident. No, he's not David Carradine. Hey, Irate. Hi, Johnny. I don't know if he was in Pink Flamingos. I don't have his IMDb up. But he's been in a bunch of stuff. And having been in Groundlings, that, like the article said, launched the careers of a lot of people. Some of them might be funny, but not Melissa McCarthy. She's not funny. Will Ferrell's pretty hit and miss, and Maya Rudolph's just annoying. So it really is more like the Portland of comedy, where you're like, well, it exists, but I don't know if I'd call that comedy. No. All right, let's move on to our next article. Screw your freedom. Arnold Schwarzenegger turns into a girly man fascist. This is from Bleeding Fool. Man, he's looking rough. Since the beginning of the epidemic, Arnold Schwarzenegger has promoted the use of masks to slow the spread. Last June, shortly after California Governor Newsom ordered all residents to wear masks outside or in public areas, Schwarzenegger claimed that anyone refusing would be an absolute moron. There's a tweet. We just read what he said. While recently promoting the new book by Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the liar at the center of the launch of the first President Trump impeachment, who was in violation of chain of command, facilitated the whistleblower's complaint against Donald Trump, and subsequently testified against the president in the House impeachment inquiry, which turned out to be a big nothing burger. Now, it's a little partisan article, but it's not inaccurate. Why would former actions hero Schwarzenegger be bothering to promote a book of a girly man insubordinate who ignored the chain of command, leaked, and lied to Congress? Because Arnold hates Donald Trump, of course. The book's called Here, Right Matters, An American Story. Oh, God, what a pretentious title. But at various times, the son of a member of the Nazi Party, literally, showed his own fascistic tendencies when it came to the freedom of Americans. You don't have to watch the mind-numbingly boring hour-long chat, but some of the highlights are when Schwarzenegger references the years leading up to World War II and how Europeans had been lied to by a regime that was very evil. Then he segues in comparing Hitler to Trump and expresses great great relief that Trump was defeated and democracy prevailed. From there, it was an easy transition to mocking conservative backlash over Joe Biden's latest round of vaccination mandates and mask requirements. There's a blah, blah, blah. I can't say too much of that. And he says, no, just think about it. Well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom, Schwarzenegger said, because with freedom comes obligations and responsibilities. We cannot just say, I have the right to do X, Y, and Z. When you affect other people, that is when it gets serious. Wow, it almost sounds like he's like a pro-lifer there, because this is one of those, like, keep your laws off my body, and he's like, no, screw your freedom, because it affects other people. That's what I got out of it. But now, it did mention his family ties to the Nazi Party, and I had to look this up to verify it. But if you go back to the Chicago Sun-Times, if my internet decides to keep working. Hi, Jim. He just likes banging the communist Venezuelan maid. What a douchebag. If you go over here to the Chicago Times, or Chicago Tribune, rather, documents actor's father was a Nazi stormtrooper. This is from 2003. And it turns out that Schwarzenegger's family, his dad specifically, was a brown shirt. After a 2-month investigation in which Simon Westenthal personally was involved, the verdict is in. Gustav Schwarzenegger was indeed a member of the Nazi Party. He voluntarily applied for membership in 1938, but there was no evidence that he was a war criminal, nor that the Wiesenthal Center found any evidence that Senior Schwarzenegger belonged to any notorious paramilitary groups. But documents in the Austrian State Archives in Vienna, reviewed by the Los Angeles Times this week, showed that Gustav Schwarzenegger had a deeper involvement in Hitler's regime than the Westall Center uncovered. One document in particular shows Gustav Schwarzenegger was indeed a member of the Stormtroopers or Brown Shirts. I can't fucking pronounce that. He joined the SA as the unit was called on May 1st, 1939, according to the entry in the archive file, about 6 months after the Stormtroopers helped launch Kristallnacht, when Jewish homes, businesses, and synagogues were attacked all across Germany and Austria. Records contain no other information about his activities with the SA. Without further documentation, it's difficult to draw conclusions about what Gustav Schwarzenegger did with the SA, said Ursula Schwartz, a researcher with the Documentation Archive of the Austrian Resistance. So yeah, I'll drop this link if you guys want to read the whole article. It's actually pretty interesting. Yeah, so he gets a lot of his views on freedom, apparently from the family, maybe. I don't know. But what he said was pretty fucking shitty either ways. Cut him some slack. All Germans were stormtroopers. No, they weren't. No. Not that many people were actual party members. And he was a member of the Brown Shirts, which were the thugs. I'm not cutting anyone slack that joined the Brown Shirts. I'll cut Arnold a little slack, but saying screw your freedom? No, screw your freedom. Go home if you don't like it here. You came here as an immigrant, you can go home if you don't like freedom so much. Fuck off with that shit. I'm a little tired of the ungratefulness people are demonstrating toward what they have here. Just because you don't like what someone does doesn't mean you get to tell them what to do. All right, on to a less serious topic, but probably more important to some of you. The classic sports anime Slam Dunk returns for new movie. A brand new trailer reveals Takahiko Inoue is writing and directing a new anime film adaptation of his classic sports manga Slam Dunk. That looks like really buff Archie. Wow, Archie's on the human growth hormone there. And Jughead looking over here, spotting a hamburger. Yeah, Duck Dog, that doesn't... I know what the words mean. I just can't pronounce it. A new trailer's been released. I just read... I don't know why they do that. It's annoying. Stop padding your number count. As originally reported by the Anime News Network, the trailer confirms a fall 2022 release for the current untitled movie. Inoue is writing the script and directing the film personally. He will be joined by animation director, something I can't pronounce, and technical directors Bill and Steve, Willie, and Phil. Daiki something will serve as the movie's CG director alongside sound directors, some guy, another guy, and this person overseeing the art direction. In 1993, Toei Animation produced an anime adaptation for Slam Dunk. The anime consisted of 101 episodes and was first broadcast from October 1993 to March 1996. The latest movie will be the 5th film adaptation of the series. So I know we got some anime people in the audience, so I thought you guys might be interested in this if you read the manga or watched the anime. Ah, cool. I'll pull it up in a second. Hey, Sir Adamantine. Goes back to World War I brown shirts and say military runners for military work. Now, I understand where they came from, Buster. I'm just saying, if after Crystal Knock started and you sign up to go door to door, it's a little shady. All right, I'm going to bring up Jim's cover concepts here. Said I could. It's pretty cool. I like that one. That's pretty cool. Yeah, nice. I dig that when it's action-oriented. I like that. I always like it when there's action going on in the image for the cover. It generally sells me more. But I like that one. And this one. She's got the Laura Croft stance going on. And all the stuff in the background with bullet holes and stuff. Broken glass. I dig that. That one's really cool. So 1 and 3 are my choices. But thanks for sharing, Jim. This anime's way before my time. Yeah, you probably weren't even born yet, Evolved. They got something about everything random. I know there's one about soccer out there. Number 3 is the popular one. I figured it was. But yeah, I liked 1 and 3. I'd go with either one of those. Or 1 is a variant, whatever. I don't know how you want to do that. But yeah. Not shady if you blame a group of people for your problems that are not accepting responsibility. Cough. Democrats cough. All right, so let's see. There are multiple basketball animes. Why? Never mind. I don't want to know. Probably about demons and hentai and all sorts of freaky sex shit. I know there was one about soccer though that was real popular for a bit. Somebody's kid I knew had it. All right. This is from Pink News. The title's blocked out, but as always, they just repeat it down here in the first line. The American Booksellers Association, the ABA, has introduced a screening process for hate speech in the books it sends out, after apologizing for sending out an anti-trans book to 750 bookstores. Now, I know somebody's going to want this link at some point in the future, so there it is if you do. Just say no to variant covers. I only ever buy one cover because I'm cheap. Prince of Tennis? Ugh. That sounds awful. It better be fantasy-oriented. And they're like, playing badminton while wearing a crown, and he's actually playing tennis against a like an ogre or an elf or something. So the screening process comes after the ABA was forced to carry out an internal review following an inexcusable error that meant it sent members copies of Abigail Schreier's Irreversible Damage, the transgender craze seducing our daughters, on the 14th of July, which is International Non-Binary People's Day. And I'm pretty sure the person that wrote this Probably the only person that knew that. International Non-Binary People's Day. That's not a real thing. That's like International Hamburger Day. Nobody fucking knows that crap unless you have somebody on the internet telling you about it because they had to look it up. You just make this shit up. Anything is any day. Oh, there's one about fruits. Was that Fruits Basket? Because I've heard of that one. Yep, Sean, that's the problem. Nope, normal tennis, lame. If there's a prince, it should be fantasy-oriented. We're in a medieval monarchy where dysentery and the plague are rampant. Remember a soccer anime called something I can't pronounce, 11. It's pretty good. I never saw it. I just know there was a soccer one. I don't remember names, didn't care at the time. Really don't now either, for that matter. But, yeah, people really like the sports mangas. They're pretty popular for some reason. So they must be well written. And that they would have action in them. I can see boxing being pretty popular. Musician playing tennis. Is he playing a musical instrument while playing tennis? Because that would be a movie worth watching. If he's like the cello tennis player and he has to like use the cello as a fulcrum occasionally to make a hit or something. Yeah, I'd watch that. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so I actually have a copy of this book. I haven't read it yet, but when I flipped through it and from the reviews, it didn't look that offensive. It's obviously taking the stance that there are a lot of people hopping on transgenderism as a craze. I'm not going to get too deep into the politics of it, but it didn't look like it was opposed to trans people from what I've seen of it and read of it. Yeah, Duck Dog. If Tall Person didn't tell me about special days, I wouldn't know about them because I just don't care about that stuff generally. I think it's fun if you know about them in advance and you can, like, if it's something you want to eat and it's generally outside of your diet, then you could justify it. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not one of those people that like obsesses over that stuff. I think they're funny sometimes, like International Non-Binary People's Day. Silly. All right, including the anti-trans book and its July promotional box violated our commitment to equality and inclusion and caused harm. Okay, if you're looking for equality, wouldn't you want opposing views? And as a result, the book in next month's promotional box will be screened for hate speech before being sent out. Disagreement is not hate speech. Somebody in chat just said it, and that's no. I don't think anything truer has been said in a long time, and people really need to get that in their head. In a letter to members, the National Trade Organization said findings of the internal review meant the ABA will now screen books for hate speech before sending them out as part of promotional boxes, and proposals for several other safeguarding measures will be heard during the August board meeting, according to the Bookseller. Bookseller is a trade magazine, too, so this is actually kind of a big deal. Moreover, Chief Executive Allison Hill, I worked for an Allison Hill once. She was a real bitch. Wrote to members on 5 August saying that the ABA was making a $5,000 donation to the Transgender Legal Defense and Education Fund. Did somebody beat someone to death with a copy of this book? What the hell? Which provides legal support for name changes. That's an easy one. You just go in and fill a form out in most states. Advocacy for health insurance coverage for trans healthcare, and it pursues legal cases seeking to advance trans rights. The policy to not review or screen titles submitted in line with many members' preferences to not have ABA decide what books they have access to, preferring to review books themselves to determine what they read, buy, sell, and promote, Hill said in her letter. She added that the board will review its policies at its August meeting and will implement new processes surrounding the promotional boxes if needed. In the meantime, books in September promotional box will be screened and flagged by a team of staff members who are charged with bringing titles to senior staff's attention that meet the United Nations criteria for hate speech. Because we don't have hate speech here in the States. The Supreme Court's already ruled on that. Hate speech isn't a real thing. So they're just going around that and saying, fuck you, we're going to determine what is acceptable to read. This is defined as any communication in speech, writing, or behavior that attacks or uses pejorative or discriminatory language with reference to a person or a group on the basis of who they are. Now, does this apply to fiction? Because bad guys say bad guy things, which are usually mean and hurtful. So if a bad guy says something that could be considered hate speech, would they not include that book too? Censoring, absolutely nobody. Going woke is killing everything. Yep, you're going to have to start finding ways around this stuff to get entertainment or things you want to read that offer a differing opinion. This is absolutely censorship. This is a mainstream book title too. It's on Amazon still for now. It's not something that's been written by some sort of weird psychotic Westboro Baptist type group. No, this is some scientist lady doing research on this and forming an opinion. That's what this is. Disgusting. Other planned changes include an audit of all internal ABA policies and process through a diverse and sorry. Let me read that again. It's already made me mad. Other planned changes include an audit of all internal ABA policies and process, quote, through a diversity, equality, and inclusion lens. A new copy editor responsible for reviewing of conscientious language and an awareness of equity and inclusion issues. And see how they're conflating equality and equity? It's not the same thing. In ABA communications with members, the creation of a beta advanced access program for marginalized voices that will attempt to get more proofs by writers from marginalized communities in the hands of booksellers. So effectively what they're saying is we're going to screen out anything that disagrees with the woke mafia, and we're going to make sure to include a bunch of crackpots books because we consider them marginalized. And then we're going to find a couple of token people from these communities, and instead of reviewing it on the quality of the merit of the book, it's got to be, well, you're from this background, therefore your book is acceptable. American Booksellers Association apologized for hours after the members opened their July promotional box to find a copy of Irreversible Damage by anti-trans journalist Abigail Schreier. That's inflammatory. She's not anti-trans. Nothing I've seen her say was anti-trans. I've read plenty of articles on this, and she does not come off as anti-trans. She's an anti-trans trender. She seems to sympathize pretty well with people that have actual dysphoria. The book describes trans identity as a peer cognition among teen girls, perpetuating the idea that being trans is inherently harmful to youth and something to be cured. That is misleading at best. She's talking about the trend, the craze of it, where you're starting to see more and more kids come out because it's hip and cool, and they wear it like a costume. Generation of girls is at risk. The description reads, Abigail Schreier's essential book will help you understand what the trans craze is and how you can inoculate your child against it or how to retrieve her from this dangerous path. Amazon previously acknowledged the book's offensive content when it suspended a paid-for advertising campaign last year, though it continues to sell the title. Target also pulled the book from shelves in February. You might remember that story. Shit, still shit. Doesn't matter how you look at it. Yeah, shit's still shit. Next step in the Inquisition. Yeah, they'll start burning these books. I'll probably just give my copy to somebody too. I'll read it once and never look at it again and probably even forget it existed. But this sort of thing makes people focus on it, and it's going to create a lot of the problems I think they're trying to fight. Better than getting a copy of Struggle by a certain Austrian dissident. Yeah, well, that's what they're doing, though, is kind of conflating this as being almost as bad as that. They have to overinflate what it is. The topic, I know you hate tap water when you try different filters on one of your channels. No. I don't do that many product reviews. I just do game reviews. I don't really care to film my sink. That would be kind of weird. So that's the gist of the article. The ADA, the ABA, the American Booksellers Association, is going to start screening the books they send out to bookstores. So the bookstores won't know certain books exist because they only get one side of a story. So get ready for that. And they'll probably change their policies so that they don't encourage people to try out diverse opinions. They're going to start looking only at specific things. Sorry, Buster. I don't have that kind of time right now anyway. My brother made me a pie for lunch, and it's delicious. It's a great time to listen to this and eat. Oh, nice. I want pie. Damn. So, yeah, that kind of pissed me off. So you can expect more of that. They'll be doing that with other materials, too. They'll probably start screening out other literature. Because that's just that's the larger oversight book thing. So you can expect this on a smaller scale. You're going to start seeing companies hiring these type of screeners. We saw it in other industries as well. So you're going to start seeing diversity and inclusion officers that are reviewing other materials, comics, anime, manga, magazines for Wrongthink. And I think this is getting a lot worse. Meat pie. That sounds good too. Now I want a meat pie and some pumpkin pie. If you guys have never had meat pie, when they're made right, they are delicious. When they're not, they're disgusting. All right, now a brief little interesting. I don't think I covered this one last time. Shrimp po' boy. Oh, nice. I'm not a shrimp guy, but I understand the appeal. Watching your sink could be. All right, I'll take it under consideration, Duck Dog. Meat goes as a dessert or a primary dish or an appetizer. It's a fact. That's why Vienna sausage and finger foods are big. Had a Euro horseshoe. Oh. Good meat pie in a long time. I haven't had one in a long time either. There used to be this great little Mediterranean place at the mall, but they went out of business like 10 years ago, and I've missed them ever since. They made this amazing curry almond beef rice. And my mouth is watering just thinking about it. I used to get it just about every day when I worked at the mall. So amazing. They even took it off their menu and still made it for me because they were awesome like that. I miss that place. Anyway, could Warner Brothers sue Jed Mercurio, whatever, over Sleeper graphic novel? This week saw the release of Jed Mercurio, I guess, new graphic novel Sleeper. Mercurio is the creator and writer of the massively hit BBC TV show Line of Duty, and one may have tipped to the new showrunner for Doctor Who. First volume was co-written by one of his actor regulars, something I can't pronounce, and was drawn by Coke Navarro, who drew the poster for one of What's-Her-Face's stage productions. The first volume of the planned science fiction epic, one person is going to be very happy, is Ed Brubaker. So it's a pretty cool cover. That's kind of a boring image. Should have put something a little more action-oriented. It looks like the Thunder Tank wandering across the desert there looking for Mumra. Ed Brubaker's, he did help create the Winter Soldier, blah, blah, blah. He keeps saying co-created. That's not accurate. He's done a bunch of comic stuff. But he also did a book called Sleeper for DC and Wildstorm with Sean Phillips back in 2002. So you could get kind of the idea where this is going, because here's his book, Sleeper. It's an Elseworlds crime collaboration. So he goes on to say, anyway, a month back it was brought to our attention that Jed Mercurio is launching a series of graphic novels entitled Sleeper. I've talked about my enjoyment of Mercurio's TV shows in these newsletters, so I was really unhappy to hear this. Somehow no one in the entire comics industry had heard about this book of his until it was already at the printer. Needless to say, Warner Brothers owns the copyright and trademark to Sleeper as a series of graphic novels and TV and film, I believe. And obviously they were more concerned. So from what I understand, there's a lot of things happening with them and the other publisher right now. So effectively, it's the copyright doesn't matter. There's a lot of books that can be called Sleeper, but they own the trademark to it, which is another story altogether. So publishing a book called Sleeper could be more of a problem. I don't think this is going to go anywhere because it's a pretty generic title, and this was written back in 2002. And I don't think it's been reprinted since. So he could probably challenge the trademark on this and say that they haven't republished it in long enough that it's fallen out, and he hasn't, since they haven't used it, he has the opportunity to go in and grab it out from under them. So if they had kept this book in print, that'd be one thing. But if they haven't published it since 2002, he's got a pretty good case, in my layman opinion. Oh, not bad, Deckfish. How you doing? Depends what we got. So, yeah, he could challenge this, and I think he's got a decent case to win. Yeah, I understand that, Buster. Yeah, I'd be glad to do it. I just don't have time. It's not. Duck Dog's right. It won't be much different than my laundry videos. So I don't think I'd mind doing it. I just don't think I have the time right now, unfortunately. My work schedule is kind of out of hand. You can try to declare it abandoned. Absolutely. Oh, I haven't gotten to the Robin part. We'll get that in about the middle of the show. You got to save the good stuff for the middle, see? And then or the end, or wherever it is in my lineup here. Oh, glad you're doing well, though. What about the ones in Wisconsin? I've heard good things. Oh, you're talking about something else. So, yeah, I think he's got a decent chance that he could probably win this one, or at least get it declared abandoned and they'd lose it. It's a pretty generic term, too. So I think they'd have a hard time really successfully winning that one without blowing a whole bunch of money. That's probably not worth it at this point, especially with the dire straits Warner's in right now. I don't think they'd really want to get too bogged down in a very public, nasty lawsuit. All right, since we were talking about the Animus, let's talk about one more. You guys like Avatar: The Last Airbender? Not that stupid James Cameron movie. Yeah, exactly, Sherry. Steak, onion, and gravy. They don't have venison in Australia much. Oh, you should get some deer. They're full of deer meat. So hopefully, if these rumors are true, you're gonna hate this new live action show. But they've released the cast for the live action Netflix show. And of course, they make some woke comments in here. My cabbages! Yeah. I even get that joke because this is one of the few anime series I've actually watched. Netflix has announced the cast and creative team for the live action Last Airbender. This is from Cosmic Book News. Gordon Cormier is playing Aang. We all know who Aang is. Then we've got, I don't know how to pronounce that. Lawentio is playing Katara, the waterbender chick. Ian Osley is playing Suka. Dallas Liu is playing Zuko. Albert Kim, who worked on Sleepy Hollow, and Nikita is the showrunner. That's actually not a bad sign entirely. Sleepy Hollow Season 1 was really good. Kind of went downhill in Series 2. Series 3 was trash fire. Executive producers include Dan Lin, The Lego Movie and Aladdin, Lindsay Liberator of Walker, Rideback, and Michael Goy of Swamp Thing and American Horror Story, with Rosanna Liang as co-producer. Directors on this series include Michael Goy, Rosanna Liang, and Jabbar Rassiani. So they're apparently going to keep it with only Asians can direct Asians, apparently. Great. The series will be an authentic adaptation of the award-winning and beloved Nickelodeon animated series Avatar: The Last Bender, reimagined as a live-action adventure. Now, this is a trick sentence. What they're pulling here is probably going to be a Kevin Smith. Michael Smith? Who the hell? Oh, the Christian rock singer. No, not that guy. They might be pulling Kevin Smith, because if the rumors are true, they're going to set this in modern day at a high school. And that's the rumor that's been floating around. I know Clownfish covered it, and so did some other people. I watched like 5 videos on it the other day, and I zoned out so fast. None of them even look close to the characters they're supposed to be playing. I don't know. You have to shave this kid's head and put a big arrow tattoo on it before I'll know. If you did her hair different and put her in some animal hide, maybe. That's Zuko, and that's Sokka. Hopefully that's not Aang, but this says this kid's Aang. So these are the behind the scenes people from the sound of it. I don't know. These guys will probably be okay. He's weird looking though. I'm sure they'll be fine for the part. They actually look like they're from Asia, so whatever. Albert Kim penned the following via Netflix. This is all my daughter's fault. She's the one that got me hooked when Avatar: The Last Airbender first aired on Nickelodeon. She wasn't quite old enough to fully track the narrative, yet I'd still find her glued to the TV every week, captivated by the adventures of Aang and his friends, who quickly became her friends. I began watching along with her with the thought of helping her understand what was going on, but my dad-splainy duties. He said dad-splainy. Yeah, you're too old for that. Knock it off. Quickly fell by the wayside as I found myself sucked into the world and the characters, literally or metaphorically. And soon we were watching side by side, both of us swept away by the singular mix of action, humor, and epic storytelling. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah. It also wasn't lost on me that this was a world that drew from Asian cultures and legends, which is a rarity to this day. Really? It's something I appreciated as an Asian American father. Oh, you're putting your identity first. Awesome. Yay. That my daughter was able to see characters who looked like her on screen was more than just entertaining. It was a gift. Okay, so you can kind of see the politics already working themselves in here. Your daughter couldn't relate to people that didn't look like her? That sounds like some weird racism instilled in her. Kids don't think like that. I know. I have a degree in education. I've worked with children before in a professional setting and in a therapeutic setting, and they don't think like this. You have to explain to them that people are different. So whatever, if your kid can't relate to people that she sees differently than her, that's your fault. You did that to her. Flash forward 15 years, Netflix offers me the opportunity to develop a live-action remake of Avatar. My first thought was, why? What is there I could do or say to the story that wasn't done or said in the original? Yeah, good point. Avatar had only grown in popularity and acclaim over the last decade and a half, which is a testament to how competent and resident a narrative experience it had been. So if it ain't broke, why fix it? Yeah, why are you doing this show then? But the more I thought about it, the more intrigued it became. Technology's advanced, blah, blah, blah. Netflix format, blah, blah, blah. Story points. Finally, a live-action version would establish a new benchmark in representation and bring in a whole new generation of fans. This was why? It's still bringing in fans. You just said that. This was a chance to showcase Asian and indigenous characters as living, breathing people. Did you think that Asians were only animated? Like, you don't own a mirror? You didn't think Asians were real people? Do you think that other people don't see Asians as real people? Because that's really fucking weird and racist and probably psychotic. You should see a doctor. Not just in a cartoon, but in a world that truly exists. It's a fictional world. Do you think people can really bend air or bend water? Very similar to the one we live in. It's not similar at all to the world we live in. Unless there's superpowers running around I don't know about or flying bear dog things. I'm a little confused here, dude. I also knew what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to change things for the sake of change. I didn't want to modernize the story. That's weird because the story elements that have leaked out say totally different or twisted to fit current trends. What? I suspect otherwise. Aang is not going to be a gritty anti-hero. Katara is not going to get curtain bangs. Well, that's good. I was briefly tempted to give Sokka a TikTok account, though. Think of the possibilities. Okay, TikTok accounts don't exist in the fantasy world, so why would you consider that? Yeah, Shyamalan already did a live action. It didn't go well. But don't worry, they're going to fix it by giving Sokka a TikTok account. Phones don't exist in this universe, so what made you think that? So maybe there's some truth to those rumors. Don't get me wrong, we'll be expanding and growing the world, and there will be surprises for existing fans and those new to the tale. But throughout this process, our byword has been authenticity to the story, to the characters, to the cultural influences. And then notice what he's not saying here, though. To the story itself, to the characters, to the cultural influences, but not the setting. He hasn't said anything about the setting itself. Authenticity is what's keeping us going, both in front of the camera and behind it. That's why we've assembled a team unlike any seen before. Whatever, puff piece. So yeah, that's his statement, but it doesn't say that it's not set in the modern world. It doesn't even say that it's not set on Earth. And now if you go and watch Clownfish TV's video on this from a couple months back, I think it was, it really does, the leaks that are allegedly related to this, and they are rumors, say that it's set at a modern high school. And that's a significant change of pace. And it may explain the weird statement about TikTok. Because why would you give these characters in a fantasy world where there's all sorts of mind-blowing magical powers cell phones? That's weird and would make no sense with the original concept of the show. And keep in mind, the creators of the original show walked away from this project due to creative differences. And that tells me a lot about it, that they're really just deceptive about the wording here. So I don't have a lot of faith for this. If you want to introduce people, then show them the cartoon. It's going to be better. I can almost guarantee it. I've got nothing against these kids. They're just up-and-coming actors trying to get gigs. Fine. Maybe they'll do a good job. I don't know. I don't know them. I don't really give a shit about that. What I care about is the loyalty to the original vision of the story. How are you going to expand this world? So I don't know what they're thinking. Earthbending for some people used hunger, some used Shaolin Mantis style. Oh, that's cool. I don't know that much about the cartoon. I just watched it and was like, this is pretty good. And the one where they see the play of that's about them, that was hilarious. You're all talking about making me hungrier. So yeah, I think this is going to be a giant flop. And probably rightfully so if they're doing what the rumors say. So, who wants to talk about the N-word? Each of the bending styles based on a martial arts style. Yeah, I figured. And that makes sense, too, because each style would be different because you're bending a different element. So they'd want it to look different. I get that. So, according to Kotaku, I know the most reliable source in video game journalism, Back for Blood beta testers or beta players think they heard the zombies yelling the N-word. The Left 4 Dead-like shooter has sound effects that are making people pause. Are they? Or are people just hearing dumb shit? So this is from Saturday. Last night while playing Back 4 Blood beta on PS5, I was attacked by a large group of zombies. That's not surprising. What was shocking was hearing a sound clip from one of the zombies that made it seem like it was yelling out a racial slur. Based on viral videos making the rounds right now, I'm not the only one hearing that similarity. Maybe it's because you look for this crap everywhere. Other beta players saying they're hearing the same thing. Zombies yelling the N-word. There is such a deficit of racial issues that they are reaching for the shit like this. Sort of like when they were saying that Boulder at the university was racist. The demand outstrips the supply. Back 4 Blood is the latest game from the original Left 4 Dead developers, Turtle Rock Studios. I liked the Left 4 Dead. I thought it was fun. I never got to play it much. Plays a lot like Left 4 Dead, which isn't a bad thing. Those older Left 4 Dead games were some of the best yeah, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. So Twitter user, somebody encountered a zombie in the beta that seemed to be yelling the N-word as it ran at the player. His response was simple, understanding. What did you call me while shooting the zombie attacker? These zombies are a different breed. Hold on, see if this tweet's still up. Oh, I think this is the, this is the archive. You can also, I'll drop the archive because it's got the link at the top for the original if you guys want to listen to the clip. I can't play it on here without getting in massive trouble. Oh, the game's terrible? Oh, that's disappointing. Maybe nobody. I don't know. You can also hear the scream in question in a clip shared by YouTuber and streamer Dodoya. I don't know. Whatever. I don't fucking care. In my own time at the game, I've heard the scream at least twice, and both times I wasn't sure what to think. I feel safe assuming the folks making this game didn't intentionally record or include a sound clip of a zombie yelling out a slur. Then why is this an article? Probably it's just a random guttural sound. Yeah, guttural sounds make noises. Then your brain will extrapolate them. It's called audio pareidolia. Your brain tries to find connections to make things make sense. That's why you can see patterns in things like clouds or snowflakes and stuff like that. Your brain tries to find patterns. It's how we avoided venomous snakes in our primitive forms. It might be a good idea to change or remove it from the game. Well, if it's not what you're saying it is, then why would they remove it? They're saying the beta's fun, even if it doesn't live up to expectations. Update. WB Games sent over this comment explaining that the slur players are hearing isn't intentional as guessed by many. Instead, it was caused by two audio clips playing at the same time. Which, again, audio pareidolia. Our team has been made aware of offensive language that can be heard when playing the game. This was not recorded or ever intended to be part of our gameplay. Well, if it wasn't recorded, how could it be in there? The audio is a result of two different written growls that are playing simultaneously and when heard together, sound like that word. We are working diligently to fix the issue, which should be completed either time for the beta or when the game launches. So they're trying to fix this because people are being a bunch of pussy little crybabies. Oh, that's disappointing, Deckfish. That's why people see weird faces in drywall while on the toilet. Absolutely. You look at a piece of wood, you'll see like eyes and stuff like that sometimes. It's just audio pareidolia. People are hearing something that's not there. And it's disappointing that your brain tricks you into hearing something that you perceive as offensive, but that doesn't mean that it was done that way on purpose. So I think that's a bunch of much ado about nothing. And as usual, Kotaku and all these other lefty sites are going to jump all over it and try and create controversy where there isn't one. Yeah, I don't doubt it, BG. But that's how your brain works. It tricks you. And if you listen to, it's like what the is the dress blue or gold thing, if you remember that nonsense controversy. Your brain can trick you into seeing things and hearing things. So it's unfortunate that it happens, but it does happen. Oh, thank you, Oki, for the donation. Where do you fall in the great pasty debate? Crimped edge and half moon shape, rounded and no crimping, beef with potato with or without onion, perhaps one of the lamb filling heretics, or those weird Virginians. I generally like the half moon shaped because it's easier to eat. That's about the only reason. Rounded, no crimping. It depends on what's going to hold the food in best because people tend to overfill their meat pies. Beef and potato with or without onion. Beef and potato without onion. I'm not an onion person. So, yeah, I would prefer not to have onions. I will eat it if it's got onions, but I don't like the texture of onions. And I don't mind lamb occasionally, but I would much rather have beef. Unfortunately, I've had to cut beef largely out of my diet, or most red meat for that matter, so it would at this point have to be chicken. But some grilled chicken you can never go wrong with. And chickens are assholes, so I don't mind killing them and eating their flesh. Cooked, of course. But thank you for the tip there. Tastes the same as those deer. If you season it right, Duck Dog, you could get rid of some of the harsher elements of venison. I'm not a big venison fan, but if you cook it right, especially grilled, it can taste a lot better. Yeah, BG, I remember that. That was not that long ago, and you can hear it from both ways. If somebody says the word before you listen to it, you'll hear that word more often than not. Porcupine in the freezer, just waiting to be roasted. Ew. I don't like a lot of the small game. I think it's a little too gamey, quite honestly. A little too chewy, like squirrel and raccoon. Raccoon's really greasy, and so squirrel for that matter, but squirrel's tough. I don't like either of them. I ate them both when I was a kid. Not delicious. Peri chicken on a bread roll with some cheese. That sounds good. I've heard armadillo's good, but they carry the Black Death, and I'm good without that. Thanks. You guys are making me hungry. All right, so let's talk about Gina Carano, because she is back on Deadline's website. Gina Carano reveals details about first project since The Mandalorian. Actress will star in a revenge thriller scripted by the Hitcher scribe Eric Red. Gina Carano will have her revenge. We can reveal that the actress is set to star as a traumatized woman who hires a long-haul trucker to track down an infamous serial killer. Ooh. The Hitcher and Near Dark scribe Eric Red has written the script for the untitled action thriller, which is based on his novel White Knuckle. The story follows a strong-willed woman who survives an attempt by a serial killer trucker, White Knuckle. Haunted by her encounter and the cops' inability to catch her tormentor, she partners with a trucker to end the killer's reign of terror. Carano is producing and will star in the movie, which is said to be in the vein of Duel, Breakdown, and True Grit. Filming will take place in Tennessee, Utah, and Montana from October. Oh, that sounds cool. They're going right into this. Is this one she's doing for Ben Shapiro's thing, Daily Wire? Near Dark was a great movie. The Hitcher, I could take or leave. It was a little too stupid in the ending or in the premise, because the guy should have died like a dozen times. But it's an okay slasher flick. Near Dark was really good, though. And it's based on his book, so it should be pretty interesting and true to the story. Also producing are Dallas Sonier, who did Bone Tomahawk, and Amanda Pressmaker, Dragged Across Concrete of Bonfire Legend, and former Fangoria editor Tony Timpone, Nicholas Chartier, and Jonathan Dexter's Voltage Pictures is handling international sales. This is the project former MMA star Carano has been developing with conservative media company The Daily Wire, which has been ramping up its film ambitions. The team is in negotiations with the director and is aiming for a Q1 2022 release. David Galgamilio, The Pale Door, is casting. I've never seen The Pale Door. Daily Wire told us it will release the movie exclusively in the U.S. to its members, while also making the movie available worldwide. Carano told us, I'm completely ignited to be creating this thriller with The Daily Wire and Bonfire Legend. I feel I'm exactly where I want to be and need to be at this moment in my life. It feels as if I have wings. The movie will be Carano's first since a series of controversial social media posts saw her turfed from Disney's hit series The Mandalorian and dropped by UTA earlier this year. As revealed, the Deadpool and Fast 6 actress soon teamed up with Ben Shapiro's The Daily Wire. The project is one of a slate of film and TV projects in development for the media company, which is also getting into distribution. This could really help The Daily Wire and her. If this movie does well and it's really well done, I think she's going to have a lot more offers coming her way. Red's cult classic 1986 thriller starring Hitcher, starring Rutger Hauer, awesome actor, and C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, followed a young man who escapes the clutches of a murderous hitchhiker, but is subsequently stalked by the Hitcher and framed for his crimes. He most recently wrote and directed the 2008 thriller 100 Feet with Famke Jensen and Bobby Cannavale. So she got a new rep agency, which is cool. But yeah, this sounds cool. I'd watch this movie. It won't be truckers like you normally see either, like a bunch of big fat dudes running around. So it'll be it's a serial killer movie with semi trucks, which are scary ass real life serial killers. So you might want to check this out. This sounds kind of cool. I'm intrigued to see how it works out. Hitchers was his third best movie. Blade Runner and Blind Fury were his best. Yeah, I would say Blade Runner and Blind Fury were probably two of Rutger Hauer's best movies for sure. Was he and I Come in Peace? Let's find out, because that's going to bother me now. We're going on an internet adventure. Rutger Hauer. You're all coming with me. Oh my God, content. Okay, Rutger Hauer. Let's just pull this up for everyone to see while we do this. Because, oh my God, content. He was in Hobo with a Shotgun. Batman Begins. Bunch of crap I don't care about. Hobo with a Shotgun was surprisingly fun. Last Kingdom is okay. Scorpion King 4, really? You're better than that, dude. He was on True Blood, Wilfred. Let's get down to the classical stuff where stuff was better. Split Second, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. Amelia Earhart, Surviving the Game. Oh, that movie was so bad. Ice-T running around. It was just the World's Most Dangerous Game, but with Ice-T. Past Midnight. I know he's been in some other good 80s stuff. Blind Fury. I own that on DVD or on Blu-ray. It's awesome. Flesh and Blood, Lady Hawk. Now that was a good underrated fantasy movie. That's the one I was trying to think of. Osterman Weekend. Nighthawks. That had Sylvester Stallone in it. They were trying to catch a killer, and yeah, pretty good career going there. Yeah, I liked Lady Hawk. I thought that was a very underrated movie. Flesh and Blood, you got to see, I think it was Jennifer Jason Leigh's boobs in that one. That's a pretty weird movie. All right, let's talk about Superman for a second. If you were a fan of the animated shows like Batman the Animated Series, this news is going to be good for you. It's from Bounding into Comics. Warner Brothers announces Superman the Complete Animated Series Blu-ray and digital box set. So they're finally releasing the complete series on Blu-ray to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the show. Yeah, it's been that long already. 6 discs on Blu-ray. That's pretty impressive. It's called the Complete Animated Series. Will include several hours of bonus features headlined by an all-new documentary detailing the creation of one of the most beloved animated superhero cartoons in history. Warner's revealed in a press release that all 54 episodes of the animated series have been remastered from original 35mm interpositive sources, giving special attention to extensive color correction, dirt and scratch cleanup, and adding a grain reduction pass to create a pristine picture, all while making sure not to affect the original lines and the artwork of the animation. The studio has retransferred from the original audio masters, and the series is presented in its original aspect ratio of 4:3. As for the bonus, the box set includes, there are 6 featurettes, 3 audio commentaries, and 1 video commentary. First, Warner Brothers detailed it will include a new featurette made specifically for the box titled Superman Timeless Icon. The description of the featurette reads, an all-new bonus feature produced specifically for the remastered Blu-ray release reveals the complicated journey of the show and those who created the new mythology of the Man of Steel, as told by producers Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, director Dan Arabia, writer Bob Goodman, blah, blah, blah. Everybody involved. Don't forget Clancy Brown was in this, the Kurgan, who did Lex Luthor. Boobs are good. I agree, P-Dog. How you doing, man? It will include another featurette entitled A Little Piece of Trivia. Reveals the series' connection to Telly Savalas and is described as a brain teaser that will entertain every Superman animated series fan. Third featurette is Superman learning to fly, get into the minds of the creative team, then building a mythology, supporting cast, Maggie Sawyer, Perry White, all that. This was a great show. I like this one. It's not as good as Batman the Animated Series, but it's pretty good. The fifth one is Menaces of Metropolis, behind the villains of Superman, etc. The last featurette is The Despot, Dark Side of Villain Worthy of Superman. And then just talk about Dark Side. Alongside these featurettes will be three audio commentaries as well. The first one will focus on the episode Stolen Memories and commentary by Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Alan Burnett, director Kurt Gita, and art director and producer Glenn Murakami. Second one hones in on the last son of Krypton, part 1, with the same cast pretty much. Third one hits on The Main Man, part 2, features commentary from most of the same guys. And then there'll be a video commentary for Mixoplict with a commentary by Bruce Timm, Dini, and Ribby, with moderation from Jason Hillhouse. It'll cost $70. Wait for a couple months, it'll go down. So I would definitely consider buying this because I thought it was a good series and it's better than most of the crap out there now. So I hope you guys are excited about that because I thought it was pretty cool. All right, so now let's talk about Blade. Blade goes more feral in his Darkhold makeover. They're doing a series of Darkhold book issues. Now, if you're not familiar with the Book of Darkhold, it's a mystic tome. You get to see it in WandaVision. And it's going to be a big event with Chthon, or whatever his name is. So Blade's getting a remake and looking all edgy and rounded shoulder. That looks unnatural. Don't mess with Blade. Come on, this looks stupid. The Avenger Blade will be part of Marvel's Darkhold event, transforming him into something much more feral than a simple vampire hunter. Remember when they did this with Wolverine and it was just as stupid? Steve Orlando and Cian Tormey are the creative team on Darkhold Alpha 1, the opening salvo of the mystical Marvel event. Scarlet Witch and Doctor Doom must work together to keep the Darkhold text from wrecking the Marvel Universe. Darkhold 1 will be written by Daniel Kibblesmith. Now, that name should sound familiar because he's the one that was behind the New Warriors reimagining and gave us Safe Space and Snowflake. So he's going to write that tie-in. Darkhold Iron Man will be written by Ryan North with art by Guillermo Sena. Ryan North is another wokist at Marvel. So the Darkhold Alpha is written by Steve Orlando. He's really hit and miss lately. He used to be okay. Our local comic stores are giving away free comics this weekend. Yeah, tomorrow's free comic book day. So if you want to support me getting some free comics and then blowing a bunch of money in the dollar bin, feel free to make your money my money. Because I'm going to go for sure. And I'm going to go at like 11 a.m. So let's look at some of the art here. See, it doesn't look too bad here, right? You're like, oh, this isn't too bad. Blade looks like Blade. Cool, right? He looks badass, like usual. There's Wasp. There's Iron Man, Spider-Man. Tony could have been drawn a little better. Black Bolt's in this. That's cool. There's Scarlet Witch. And is that supposed to be Doctor Doom or one of the Immortals? Anyway. Darkhold! Okay, that was stupid. Yeah, Blade looks awesome here. Black Bolt. Yeah, probably going to yell at someone. Cool. Darkhold Blade, though, written by Daniel Kibblesmith. That art looks like shit. That cover would not sell me. That looks like a high schooler drew that. And the pink color, I don't know why they're using that for night tones now. It looks like shit. And here's a better picture. That's disgusting looking. That looks like some kind of weird racial caricature, too. So what made you think this was a good idea? Like, these hands are not proportionate to the arm even, much less the head. Like, that hand is as big as his face. from the side, that's hideous. What the fuck, man? That doesn't look feral. That looks like lazy vampire art, like fan fiction from Vampire the Masquerade circa 1994. So yeah, I have no interest in this. I was considering the Darkhold book storyline until I saw who was working on it. And then I saw that Kibble Smith was working on this book, and I was like, nope, I'm checked out of that one. Thought Tony Stark stopped being Iron Man for Ironheart or whatnot. They brought him back because sales tanked. Yeah, I did, Oki. I did set that up. Yeah, you can't forget about Free Comic Book Day, dude. Yeah, that's supposed to be him in a feral stage, although they've never done that with vampires like that in Marvel that I remember. The feral thing's kind of stupid, and if you look at it in the wrong light, it looks kind of racist, but I think this is dumb. This is shameless cash grabbiness that will probably be reversed pretty quickly, but knowing Marvel, it'll be 2 or 3 years before they undo it. The red doesn't even match anything. It looks hideous, especially that tone of red. I guess it's supposed to be the color of blood or some edgy bullshit like that. Those weird little spiky things are dumb too. Like, he's already got claws. Why do you need little spiky things on these parts of his arm here that make no sense? So I don't know what they're trying to do with that. Blade defiled. That looks dumb. And those fangs aren't even functional. The fangs are supposed to be to puncture a hole in the neck so you can drink the blood. He looks like a saber-toothed tiger. If he punctures the neck down here, that blood's just going to spray all over his chest like some weird bukkake. A blood bukkake on Blade. Blade's blood bukkake. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. What's wrong with him looking like this? He looks badass here. He's got the swords. He looks tough. He's in an action pose. Even Tony's like, I'm not fucking with this dude. And Black Bolt's like, I'm not talking to him. He'll kick my ass. And instead, we get this shit. What the hell? Yeah, I don't know why he's wearing bicycle shorts. I don't know where he gets the outfit either. That makes no sense. I don't know, Sean, but that I could see how that could be interpreted. That's really, really fucked up. Oh, man. They have... Is this racist? I think it is. I really do. Yeah, I don't know what to say to this other than... whenever people that proclaim themselves to be like the saviors of anti-racism and whatnot put out stuff, why does it always look like some kind of weird thing the Klan would put out? But what'd you guys do to Blade? He's badass. Why are you making him look like a fucking, I don't know, were-dog? I don't know what this is supposed to be. This is disgusting. It's just hideous to look at, too. All right, we've put it off long enough. Let's talk about Timmy Drake. I got 3 articles here. We're going to kind of go through them. The third article is the most important one. Yeah, he does look like a gangrel. I couldn't think of the Klan. I could only think of Bruja. But yeah, it looks like weird Vampire the Masquerade fanfic drawings. Yeah, his arms are weirdly long and they have giant fingers. How does he pick anything up with those hands? I'm going to turn you into a fountain. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, let's get into this shit. We'll start with Pink News, because they couldn't be more excited about this. Robin just came out as bisexual in new Batman comic, and fans are absolutely elated. I don't know where these fans are, but because I haven't seen anyone that's happy about this. I'm sure they're out there, but I just haven't seen them. This is from the other day. Look at that. Oh, God, could they draw him any more pussy? Why does everybody look like a puss in comics now? Like, they couldn't kick their own ass. Batman sidekick Tim Drake, a.k.a. Robin, came out as bisexual and scored himself a date all in one issue. And DC comic fans are absolutely elated. Make your own characters, okay? Just make new characters. Why is this complicated? Drake first appeared in comics in 1989 and is the third character to assume the role of Batman's vigilante partner, Robin. Over the years, he's adopted multiple aliases, including Red Robin, and even going by the codename Drake, which lasted like 5 issues because Brian Michael Bendis is a fucking moron. Before becoming Batman's sidekick once more, the character's been shown dating women before, and in the latest comic, it's confirmed he is also dating men. Batman Urban Legends, written by Megan Fritz Martin, art by Belan Ortega, colorist was Alejandro Sanchez, and letter was Pat Brousseau, is DC's latest installment in an ongoing series exploring stories set in Gotham City. That book is shit, too. It's boring. The comic continued a story set out in the previous pieces and saw Drake continue to rescue his old friend Bernard, who was kidnapped and almost sacrificed by evildoers. They had a previous, like, sort of hangout thing in the Pride Month book that they'd put out, and that's where everybody kind of knew this was coming, because some idiots paid $10 to read that garbage or got it off a Russian pirate site. And then 2 characters fight side by side. Why does Robin need some normie to help him in a fight? Drake had a light bulb moment where he discovered something out in the ether has been taunting you, teasing you. He explained that people keep asking me what I want, but he could never grasp what the answer was. Apparently butt stuff was the answer. After the epic battle, Drake traveled to Bernard's house. The 2 came face to face yet again. Well, he did go to his house. Where else? Okay. Drake shared that he would like to figure out their relationship, and Bernard responded by bluntly asking the other man if he would like to go on a date. Yeah, I think I want that, Drake answered. Batman and especially Tim Drake fans responded extremely positive to the news. I doubt that. Fans on Twitter, those aren't real fans, were elated to hear the news that Drake is canonically bisexual, with many sharing how much the queer Robin meant to them. I screamed when TY tagged me, and I'm so fucking happy right now. Okay. Who the fuck are you? And this asshole said, Tim Drake's finally coming out. So inspiring. How? DC never wanted a queer Robin. How do you know that? But after years and years of campaigning from writers and fans, it finally happened. Nobody cares. This is so big. Like, Tim Drake's Robin is so iconic. Being the only Robin that became Robin by discovering Batman's secret identity, acknowledged by Bruce to be the best detective ever, even better than him. The Robin that has pulled Bruce out of darkness, and he's bi. What did any of that have to do with the fact that he's bi? That's so special to me. Why? Why is this? Why do you live your life vicariously through being gay? In this house, we all love bisexual Tim Drake. Are these all sock puppet accounts for some asshole DC? All right, I'm skipping through this shit. In the comics, Drake took the mantle of Robin. In the Lonely Place of Dying storyline. Move on. He eventually deduced okay. After Todd's death, his dad died. He was murdered. Jason Todd was murdered by the Joker. And because Tim took up the mantle, his father died. And he was taken in by Bruce Wayne, of course. So that they are having a live-action individual take over the role of Tim Drake in the HBO Titan series. And he's going to be played by, you would think Tim was a redhead. Let's just put it that way. So this article is a bit of a puff piece, right? Doesn't really tell you much about the actual story. But it was so ham-fisted. I actually have read the 3 pages, I think it was, of the excerpt of the issue, and it was so lazily written. It was almost as bad as the Iceman storyline. So let's go over to Bounding into Comics. DC retcons Tim Drake, shows him attracted to men. DC previously hinted that Drake may be attracted to men in Batman Urban Legends #4. In a story by Megan Fritz Martin, Drake broke up with Stephanie Brown, aka Spoiler, telling Oracle, drop it, Barbara, and stop talking to my ex about me. Okay, that doesn't really tell me anything. In response to this, Oracle says to Drake, you need to slow down, take a look at yourself. Maybe Ivory Town University wasn't for you, but because he dropped out of college. Well, you won't figure out what is for you if you're busy trying to solve everyone and everything else because you're scared. You're so incredibly scared. Blah, blah, blah. Lecture time. Look at all this fucking babbling. It says the same thing over and over again. Go figure your shit out, Tim. Following the conversation with Oracle, Drake meets up with a friend named Bernard, and the two go out to get burgers. They go out and get some meat together. However, the meetup's interrupted by the Chaos Monster and appears to kidnap Bernard. Look at this fucking shit art. How does his arm bend like this? Seriously, his elbow, is he a puppet? Like a literal puppet? Because no human arm bends like this. It has your hand that close to your shoulder. It just, unless you're Sing Heiling or something. They sure do. Thumbs up, good buddy. Oh, this is fucking stupid. Oh, the fight scene. Robin needs the help of Rando Bernard. I wish we could have finished our date. Yeah, I really want that. Look at the soft tones, the soft lighting. Ugh. I don't care that they have gay characters or bisexual characters. What I care about is they're taking people that weren't something and transforming them into that thing. Yeah, Alfred and Batman would definitely know. Tim is a great detective that can't figure out that he's bisexual. Really? I understand, Sean. Art makes them look like they're 12. Yeah, it looks like some weird pervy crap. I just made my arm bend like that, but it was hurting, right? Justice for Stephanie? Absolutely. Look, here's an older piece of art about Stephanie Brown, spoiler, and that's her name, spoiler. I'm not spoiling anything. And Robin. And they're smooching. Look at the quality of that art and the coloring. Yeah, this is a mocked photo. But look at the quality of this art compared to whatever the fuck this trash is. This is like lighting from a romance book. Oh, I'm like 12 and I want to smooch you. Shut up. So you would think this is just pandering, and it is. But let's take a little closer look at Robin. Robin, all of Tim Drake's major love interests. There's probably some spoilers, but this is in chronological order. Number 10 or 13 here, we've got Ariana Dachenko. Oh, look, it's a chick. And Robin's got 90s hair real bad here. It looks like he's going bald. Like, yeah, you got the Eddie Munster dude going there, dude. Always be considered the first love of Tim Drake. She was introduced during Chuck Dixon and Tom Lyle's Robin 3 storyline from the early 90s, where Robin had to team up with the Huntress to fight the KG Beast. That was a fun story, as I recall. I'm going to reread that one of these days. I've got it laying around somewhere. Oh, they are letting Tumblrites do the art, Sean. Absolutely. Why not, if you want Robin to be gay or bi, write a new character who happens to be gay or bi, become Robin? No, that's too much work. Being gay is a personality trait now because they can't write. These are bad writers. The start of their relationship was never clearly shown in the comics, but they did last a decent time as boyfriend and girlfriend. She was his first civilian girlfriend. I don't remember how they broke up, but it was covered in one of the Robin regular series, I think. Then he hung out with Jubilee during the DC Marvel crossover. That was in the 90s. Then Stephanie Brown, who went on to become Batgirl for a while, but I guess she was a little too white, so that couldn't happen. She was Batgirl and spoiler, and is widely considered Tim Drake's most complicated love interest. Yeah, they were definitely the Lois and Clark kind of thing going on, but they were always breaking up and shit like that. Yeah, Jubilee was a real good choice. The relationship got started back when Drake was still dating Ariana Dachenko and was considered much more romantic by Brown, fighting a spoiler at the time than on the part of Robin. Yeah, she was in love with him, and he was like, I have a girlfriend. Things started with simple flirtation and they became like a real thing. Greta Hayes, that is kind of shit art. What is going? You doing the Live Long and Prosper to the Gorn over here? And what the fuck is that? That nightmare monster behind you. So that hand is gigantic, and she probably get that looked at. That swelling's not good. While Robin was enjoying a somewhat sturdy relationship with spoiler, in came Greta Hayes. Hayes was a young woman killed by her brother. The villain is known as Harm, left to exist between the constraints of life and death. Boiled over in Young Justice number 30, which saw her jealousy spurn chaos in form of fight with spoiler across Gotham City. They eventually settled, and a romantic interest in Tim fizzled out. Then Cassie Sandmark. This was a tragic one. Most significant love interest in the DC universe comes with yet another superhero, believe it or not, Wonder Girl, Cassandra Sandmark. And I remember this being a real nasty one, nasty breakup that began after the death of Superboy, who Wonder Girl had previously been in a relationship with. Came somewhat odd nature, would persist for years. However, the two always had some undeniably good chemistry. Then we have number 8, Darla Equestia. I don't know. Fairly short-lived placeholder. She's a rebound chick. She was revived as Warlock's daughter. She reminds me of Noctera when Batman was banging her back in Detective Comics back in the 400s, I think it was. Then we've got Zoanne Wilkins. That looks like he's kissing an old lady. She's got old lady face. Introduced during Adam Beecham's run on Robin. They're just doing interracial shit here. Like T1, blah, blah, blah. Then we've got Tam Fox. That's when he was Red Robin. He's got some brown fever going on here. She's the daughter of Lucius Fox. And her brother's going to take up the mantle of Batman now. In that book, I Am Batman. Lasted 2 years. Then we've got Lynx 2. That didn't last very long, as I recall. Then there's Cassandra Sandmark again. I don't know why she's on here twice. Stephanie Brown, spoiler version. Madison Payne. She was one of the new Firestorms. And that she was one of the replacement Firestorms, too. I think the real Firestorm's back now. Then Barbara Gordon. Nice. That's from during the Arkham Knight video game. Tim Drake was actually an item with Barbara Gordon. Two have solid chemistry to fight along each other. Notice what I don't see in here? Any indication that he was into dudes. For 30 years, he's been a straight dude banging all these hot chicks. So, and even bouncing from Cassandra through all these chicks, then back to Cassandra, then back to Spoiler. Yeah, so he's been banging around with these like 10 chicks for 30 years. Was he a male feminist? Not really, I don't think. They might have made him one in the last few years. But yeah, so this shit is ridiculous. It's just another mask skin suit they're throwing on. Like, we're going to take a successful character and give them attributes of the writers because they're incompetent and can't write about something different than them. And it's disgusting and lazy. And it's just shameless pandering and a cheap sales cash grab. There are disproportionately more gays in comics than straight people. I don't know how they're going to repopulate the planet with this many gay people in comic books. Because there's so many gay and bi and whatnots and non-binaries now. How are they going to have children? Anyway, that stupid shit aside, like, seriously though, not aside yet. I'm still pissed off. Because just make new interesting characters. Robin had a harem and now he wants to explore sexuality, right? Do you think they had a roundtable discussion? They could get away with making Batman bi and they settled on Robin? That would not surprise me at all, Oki. But it wouldn't surprise me if the new Jace Batman, the Jace Fox, if he ends up being bisexual or gay, wouldn't surprise me at all. Ridley is writing him. I forget his first name. James Ridley, maybe. He's got a real grudge for people of melanin deficiency, shall we say. He's been writing this series called The Other DC History, and it is wildly racist. It's just oppression Olympics all over the place. The guy has a real chip on his shoulder. So it won't surprise me to see that bleed through into his I Am Batman series. And it really looks like they're sidelining Bruce Wayne pretty heavily. Yeah, they're just losing more and more existing customers, BG. Absolutely. I only take issue with it because he was not gay previously, just like Iceman, Just like a dozen other characters. They weren't something like this before, and now you want to change it because it fits the modern sensibilities of your perceived audience. It's not even your audience that's actually buying the books. Just stick to the characters as they are and introduce new characters if you want them to have these different traits. It's just laziness. And all the companies are doing it for all the bigger companies. Some of the smaller ones are fine, but it's really sad. And they're just killing their own IPs. All right, let's get into Moon Knight. And then we'll hit on James Gunn's latest fiasco. Yeah, that's been going around for a while, Evil One. It wouldn't surprise me if they try and make some sort of weird acceptance crap out of that. And if they do, I am out the door for sure. So an image is leaked that's allegedly the costume for Moon Knight in the new TV series that's coming up. This is from Cosmic Book News that's sharing this rumor, and I must reinforce that this is rumor. I think they did, nobody. I didn't read that one because it looks stupid. But yeah, they made Batman. I think he was very effeminate in that story. I didn't read it, though, so I can't verify that. But let's talk about Moon Knight here. First issue of that was stupid. So this is the TV series that's going to be on Disney Plus. This is rumor is supposed to be the costume. We'll take a good close look at the costume too. So this is the character that's going to be played by Oscar Isaac from the crappy Star Wars movies. He's apparently leaked online, but unfortunately the costume doesn't look much better than the CW DC shows. A second leaked pic is going around is actually fake and is Ragman from DC's Arrow. The image shows Moon Knight in front of a bathroom where he appears to have come down and busted out of a ceiling. So here's the image. We'll get a better look at it in a minute. Moon Knight Loki TFWS looks cheap. Regarding comparing the image to the CW DC shows, which feature really bad budget special effects and costumes for the most part, I've been catching up on Marvel Disney Plus shows and feel Marvel used all of its money on WandaVision, as Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki both looked really cheaply made to me. In the case of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, it looks as if they used a lot of handheld camera work to film iPhone, where particularly the fight scenes come off looking really cheaply done from a camera perspective. He's not entirely wrong. Loki looked fine for the effects, but yeah, some of the Falcon Winter Soldier did look like it was really poorly filmed. Regarding Loki, which I only watched the first episode, fell asleep during episode 2. It made no sense for Loki to port to the desert on Earth. Yeah, that's true. Also, he didn't seem too worried about the Tesseract when he landed. Yeah, there's a lot of plot holes in that. The first episode was either set on Earth, a lot cheaper than creating space sets, or on the 70s look at TVA, again, really cheap. I have the opinion that this set for the TVA was some building that never got renovated. Can't talk. So some old building that was never renovated that they just found like, we're filming here. And they rented it for like $50. I had high hopes for Moon Knight. So this is the alleged photo. It says property of Marvel, but that doesn't mean shit. People fake crap all the time. Let's get a better look at this picture. That costume looks like a mummy with a hood. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. So is that digitally touched up Ragman? Because this is the picture that's been going around. That seems to be the rumor. Moon Knight leak. Moon Knight costume played by Oscar Isaac. Sources are still iffy. Yeah, no shit. You got it off the internet. It does look more like Ragman's costume. Yeah, I agree, Deckfish. Phase 4 has been pretty garbage. Now, this does look very CW, so it wouldn't surprise me if this is a doctored picture of Ragman. It also wouldn't surprise me if this is legit. Noob Sabat? I don't know what that means. I don't watch the Arrow show, so I don't recognize it, but Yeah, I'm wondering if this is legit or not. If it's legit, this looks like shit. So it wouldn't surprise me, though. So that's the latest rumor on Moon Knight. And I'm going to move this tab so it's off the page for a second. We'll end on that one. From Mortal Kombat game. Oh yeah, okay. Jack, how's Eternal Comrade Floofington? Oh, he's good. I fed him a little while ago. Before I started streaming. He's outside doing something. I don't know. He wandered off after he ate. This is a gray black hidden ninja character. Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about now. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while, and I haven't seen the new movie. Phase 4 has destroyed the validity and affected the overall plot. Yep. They really took a hard left turn. Well, how am I? I'm fine. Learn to read? No, you're not my mom. You can't make me. The last 10 Rings trailer didn't look terrible. It didn't look great either. I don't know how you fuck up Shang-Chi. Like, really. I'll probably watch it, but I'm not going to pay money, like big money. I'll wait till it's on Disney Plus and watch it at somebody else's house. Phase 4, though, has really, really taken a hard left turn into nonsense political crap I don't care about. And that was evident in Falcon and Winter Soldier. And if that's the direction they're going, I want nothing to do with it. I'll watch some of the stuff, but I'm not paying for it. I'll go to somebody else's house and watch it. I have no issue with that. They're paying for it. Let them waste their money on trash. I'm not going to. All right, let's talk about James Gunn. Let's sit in the parking lot for 10 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be late. Hope you have fun. Where's our Howard the Duck movie? Well, you got the old one with the chick from Back to the Future, Marty's mom. Wonder if they took turns finger banging her. Anyway, James Gunn, Suicide director, named in lawsuit for hosting a naughty person themed party. This is from Bounding into Comics. The title is very misleading. It's not inaccurate. It's just a little misleading. Suicide Squad director James Gunn has been named in a lawsuit against Mindless Self-Indulgence lead singer James Euringer, a.k.a. Jimmy Urine, for hosting a naughty person themed party. And the summons for the lawsuit obtained by Human Events, that's Jack Posobiec's outfit, I think. I know he works there. An anonymous woman accuses Euringer of the no-no struggle snuggle, battery, and the abuse of a 15-year-old girl, which occurred for nearly 3 years. In further details, the Euringer groomed and manipulated plaintiff into believing that his abusive behavior was not criminal and that by engaging in no-no activity with him, plaintiff was actually helping to protect younger girls from no-no touches. During that 3-year period, Euringer repeatedly no-no touched and did bad stuff to plaintiff. I have to be real careful how I talk on this. Yeah, it gets weirder. Okie. In the section of the summons title, Euringer is a self-identified and self-promoted no-no toucher. The Suicide Squad director, James Gunn's name comes up. He's not actually being sued for anything. He might actually end up being a witness. The summons reads, knowledge and reports of Euringer's kid love continue to circulate to this day. Recently, pictures of Euringer's wife, Chantel, and a man wearing a masked full-body rabbit suit at a no-no touch themed party surfaced publicly. Upon information and belief, the man wearing the rabbit suit is Euringer. The party was hosted by director James Gunn, and upon information and belief, attendees to the party were encouraged to dress like no-no touchers and abuse victims, such as children. Not only is Gunn referenced, but a picture from the party included in the summons under Exhibit C features Gunn dressed as a priest posing for the camera. This is the picture that James Gunn put out online, and that was retweeted by like Ian Miles Chung and all those other people. The image was shared to social media in 2018 by then Daily Caller contributor Ian Miles Strong. Yeah, supposedly this was posted by James Gunn originally, and then he deleted it during that big purge when he first started working for Disney. So the picture was still around, but since he posted it and hosted the event, this picture is now Exhibit C in a lawsuit, saying that this dude, or allegedly this dude, might be a no-no toucher. Chong's sharing of the image came after Gunn was accused of no-no touching after dozens of tweets surfaced involving, he denies that. As you'll see, Huddleston, including tweets involving Houston Huddleston. Houston Huddleston was found guilty of possession of no-no pictures and ordered to register as a no-no offender. So there's some connections here because this Huddleston guy knew James Gunn in some way, and Gunn hosted this party which has a no-no theme. And obviously edgy boy shit, fine, whatever. Hopefully that's all it was. I don't know. But he's denied it, that he's a no-no toucher. But now this dude allegedly might be a no-no toucher. So there's connections between all three of them. And since this guy's a no-no toucher, that makes everybody look kind of bad. Gunn addressed the accusations in July of 2018. He says he was a provocateur and an edgy boy making jokes that were outrageous and taboo. He denied that he was anything other than, just being funny. And he apologized, blah, blah. They include all of his tweets here so you can get all that. Despite the explanation, Walt Disney Company did initially fire him. That's why he did Suicide Squad, but he is going to be back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But let's go over to the actual source material where this article is based off of at Human Events. And here, we can find the actual legal brief. And it specifically says who the plaintiff was Euringer. And he took this girl to concerts and all that. And he lied and said she was 21 at some of these events. Coerced her into a relationship. He, however, was a self-proclaimed naughty person. Despite his instructions to plaintiff, his relationship and sexual activity with plaintiff, a minor with the inability to consent to such acts, was openly known to Euringer's band, Gallus, Euringer's and plaintiff's friends, and eventually to Elektra's agents and employees, and anyone else who spent time with Euringer and plaintiff. To this day, plaintiff suffers emotional distress from assaults. Then we get into the Exhibit A here, which is in 96. Euringer and Mindless Self-Indulgence published an advertisement for a drummer actively looking for someone who did not mind drumming for a band full of no-no touchers. A copy of this advertisement is annexed here to marked Exhibit A. And then the artwork from one of their albums in which a female child's groin is allegedly drawn and some nasty shit written is Exhibit B. And then you go down and Exhibit C is that photo from the party. It's the only time James Gunn's name appears in this legal document. So he is not the subject of this investigation or this legal matter. He is just the host of the party that had a no-no theme where this guy dressed up like an Easter bunny and was photoed. And James Gunn also had some sort of connection or affiliation with that Huddleston guy who was also busted with no-no pictures. This lawsuit has nothing to do with James Gunn other than the fact that he probably is going to get subpoenaed and called to give a deposition. She was 15 at the time, Sean, so I don't know. No, she was not 15 for 3 years. She was the assaults continued for 3 years. You opened for Mindless Self-Indulgence? They were shit? Oh, that's fucking crazy. Wow. Well, maybe they'll call you as a witness. But I read through this, and there's some pretty crazy shit in here. So if you guys want to read it, I'll drop the link in the chat. Like I said, this really isn't about James Gunn. but it is mainly about the band, and a lot of people are being sued in this. It's not just that dude. They are also suing Elektra Entertainment, Warner Music Group, James Euringer, Joseph Gallus, Elektra Entertainment. This is all in a legal brief, so I'm not doxing anything. None of those are their real addresses anyway. I don't think they're all like where their mail goes. But this was just filed on 8/9 in New York County. So this is a pretty nasty, serious thing that's going on. But it doesn't necessarily relate to James Gunn other than tangentially. He is probably going to get pulled for a deposition by both sides. But if anyone uses him as a witness, it's probably going to be this woman that's suing him. Yeah, Hollywood is full of weirdos and, yeah, politicians, absolutely. But it made for an interesting read. And Evil One, you should probably read this just in case you know any of these people. People threw beer cans at them. Wow. It does make you wonder, BG, because this is the second person that he's been around that has had these accusations. And it's definitely going to resurface those edgy tweets from ages ago. Whether he is or not, he's tied to these people in some respect because he was being an edgy boy. It's the consequence of doing edgy humor. You end up getting lumped in because over time memories shift and fade. And it did hurt him briefly, although Disney totally hired him back, so it didn't really hurt him that much. But this might hurt his reputation more because if more people he's associated with at that party end up being no-no touchers, it's going to really follow him around. This accusation is probably going to follow him around anyway, but this is not going to help his cause any. Yeah, 20 years is just too much of a cover. You're right, Assassin. 30 years, actually, yeah. Yeah, his indifference toward victims is pretty disgusting. I think James Gunn's kind of a douchebag anyway, but this sort of thing really isn't helping his image. So, I don't know. I don't know what his predilections are, but yeah, he worked for Troma a long time ago, and they do a lot of edgy stuff. But I don't think they put him up to throwing a party like that. That's in bad taste even for Troma. So it's pretty disgusting. And if this guy did that, then he deserves to lose his lawsuit. So I don't know anything about Mindless Self-Indulgence. I've heard of them before, but I've never seen them play or anything. Evil One says they suck, so they probably suck. Yeah, I don't know. It does make you wonder a little bit. But this lawsuit isn't about him, so he's not being accused of anything. He's just somebody that threw a party that was probably just in bad taste and was fairly innocuous other than being in bad taste. That's fine. You could do shit that's in bad taste. But if there's something more there about this guy, this Euringer guy, it'll come out. So, yeah, fuck that guy if he's guilty. I don't know. But I thought it was worth covering just because of the accusations. And I don't want people thinking that they just read the headline and think it's about Gunn, and it's not. It's got really nothing to do with him other than that party, and he's connected to yet another perv. Yeah, the crowd threw rocks, so yeah, good point. Oh, thanks, Deckfish. Thanks for stopping out, man. I hope you had fun. Sorry it's a bit of a downer stream today, but I do have one last piece of news, and it's not any better, really. Hope you have a good night, man. Thanks for coming out. I'm always glad to see people out here, especially familiar faces. Mark Waid's coming back to DC in 2022, so DC's Wokeness Brigade is getting a one extra member. This is from CBR. In a recent podcast interview, Mark Waid revealed that he'll be returning to DC for a new project. His first regular work since 2008 when he became the editor-in-chief of Boom Studios in 2007. That's not exactly true. He worked for Humanoids, and everybody forgets that. He still runs Humanoids. Waid had a story in Dark Knight's Death Metal, Last Stories of the DCU. That's an anthology. It was a really short piece. But besides that, he's not done work for DC since 2008, rather. Again, minor shit, which was striking change for Waid. He was an editor at DC in the late 80s. His iconic run on Flash. He did a great run on Flash. I loved that. And his work on Captain America in the 90s was good. The late 90s, early 2000s. But I haven't read those in probably since then. But yeah, Alex, I think Kingdom Come was a little overrated. Alex Ross's art's fantastic. 52, I didn't much care for. That was a rotating cast of writers. That was really annoying. And Superman Birthright, I don't think I ever actually read that. His last projects were Brave and the Bold. I didn't read that. I read the Brave and the Bold that Liam Sharp did. That was really fun. But they never did the follow-up book, which was really annoying. A Brief Return to the Flash, I never read those either. Waid appeared on a Hero Story podcast, and the discussion turned to how to best do a reveal in the story while making... I don't care about any of that. Any DC work in 2000? Oh, fucking A, don't give a shit. So Mark Waid's coming back next year. Bunch of nonsense at the bottom. He's coming back, doesn't say what he's going to work on, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be woke trash. No, the lawsuit got settled, Sean. They quietly wrapped that up with nobody paying anything and everybody just keeping their mouths shut from the sound of it. Question if DC Comics will still be around until 2022. Good number of their talent has been looking for other companies. Yep. Yeah, that's a really good question. There's a good chance they will not be around. They put out a couple of fluff pieces saying everything's fine. We're a great place for creative people, blah, blah, blah. Great for creator owned. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Whenever people promote that much, it makes me suspicious. So we covered those articles last week, I think. And yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, but they've been getting really woke lately, and it's showing. The Milestone stuff has been very, very heavily racial tension politics. The other history of the DCU, same thing. There's been a lot of woke crap coming out of DC, and it's really disappointing. Especially because they have such great potential, and they've done awesome stuff in the past. They even they did this Black Label book, Suicide Squad Get Joker, and they couldn't resist but put an insurrection reference in there. Because Wild Dog got arrested at the insurrection. It's fucking lazy. DC, sadly, has better talent than Marvel does right now. There's more woke books coming out of DC, like more obviously woke books. Marvel's just boring, and they have shit art. But a lot of the DC stuff is still pretty decently written, even though it's a lot of woke garbage. It's really, really sad. I was at Walmart and found a comic book. It was called My First Comic. It's Batman. It's a flip book. It's got like 4 stories in it. It's $5. I picked it up, thought I'd review it. And it looks like it's some reprints of old Batman the Animated Series style comics, the Batman Adventures. Those were really good books. And it's got some like activity pages. It was a really neat little book. I'm going to review that one eventually. But yeah, the rest of the main DC line is just woke trash at this point. It's very disappointing. A few books look like they have potential, but we'll see. Company that has as many characters as on the brink of not existing is sad. It's absolutely sad. And no matter what they do, they can't seem to get away from what's failing. They keep doubling down on it. They're like, well, these books aren't selling. It just needs more woke. We need more gay characters. We need more non-binaries. Yeah, I'm still reviewing games on over on Roll for Sanity. I will drop a link to that channel because, yeah, actually I was supposed to have a video out today on there, but I may have forgot to schedule it. So it didn't actually get released. There's a channel link if you want to go check it out. New management coming in Discovery. I can see them shutting down long enough to restructure. It's obviously underperforming. Yeah, they've raised the price on the books. They've dropped a bunch of titles. raised the price on the regular issues by like $1. Most of their books are $5 now. They have some $6 books too. And their books aren't that good. They're not worth that for a single 22-page book. And what they're doing is adding backup stories. So you get 2 stories. One's like 12 pages. One might be 18 if you're lucky, which means 30 pages. But they're 2 very fractionalized stories because you got to wrap up one in 12 pages. It makes for a really stunted storytelling experience. And the Avengers books, I don't know if anyone reads the Avengers, but I picked it up for that stupid World War She-Hulk thing. It's hot trash. Because James wanted me to pick up the hideous cover She-Hulk one, and that's part 3 of the story. The Avengers books, 46 and 47, only 20 pages. And worse, the center page of issue 47 came out on my copy while I was reading it. And it's not like I don't treat my stuff well. So yeah, that was trash. $4 for a 20-page book, garbage. Let's make lesser quality books with fewer pages of actual story. Oh, wait, they already did that. Yep, they absolutely did, Oki. Absolutely. I'm not surprised, Evil One. It happens quite a bit, actually. This channel, my numbers fluctuate between 2 and 5 subscribers a day, randomly. Yeah, I'm not paying $4 for a 20-page comic. What a waste. I could go get a back issue that's probably 32 pages for $4, or even something out of the dollar bin that's better than this. So, and it will have less politics in it. $1 to $2 bins lower lately. Yeah, there's some great stuff in there. Yeah, indie books are really the way to go. I've been picking up a lot more of them. And quite frankly, I'm much more impressed. The paper quality is at the minimum the same. It's usually better. And the stories are better. So I'm going to stick with picking up stuff that's good. And why wouldn't I buy some cheap back issues or some indie books instead of paying the big tube money? If they're going to fail, they're going to fail. I can't stop them. We've tried telling them what we want to read. They don't listen. And they think we're stupid, and they mock us every chance they get. Why would I continue to give them cash? That would be dumb. That's insanity. I can buy a novel for the sale price of 1 floppy. No way I continue to pay $5 for a crap story. Absolutely. You go to any dollar store, like a Dollar General, that has, like, you know, just cheap stuff. Not everything's $1. And get a paperback for $3, like Piers Anthony. And I'll get way more hours of entertainment out of that. I'm not unwilling to pay a reasonable price for something if it's reasonable quality. Like the Black Label stuff that comes in like magazine format. It's got perfect bindings, so there's no staples. It's glued. It's got nicer quality paper, big pages. Fine. They're like 48 pages. Yeah, I'll pay the $6 for that. I got no issue with that. But I'm getting quality most of the time. If the story's not good and the art's shit, I'm not going to pay that much money. Come outside and then go outside, and she had to show me she killed a mouse. Oh, good kitty. She started crunching, so I left. I don't blame you. The only new stories I buy are manga and trade. I don't blame you. Manga, you're getting value for the dollar. Absolutely. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Marvel and DC need to catch up. They are not paying attention to what people want to read. And what they want to read are longer stories, or at least complete stories. And they have to be interesting and fun and have adventure, which is all the stuff that's lacking from their books. If they were smart, they'd pay attention to the sales of these Marvel Masterwork reprint trades they're doing that are more manga-sized and contain 10 issues, and see, hey, people like this format and this price point, $16 for 10 issues. Huh. Well, if you do new stuff that's more... They don't have to... What they're trying to do is copy the art style of manga, but that's not necessarily what's selling manga. It's the stories, too. They're not copying the story quality. They're just copying the art, poorly, mind you. But if they would do quarterly books, knock it down to 5 or 6 titles, do quarterly books. So you have Batman 1 month, Superman the next month, or Detective Comics, whatever. And do a rotating thing so you have 3 or 4 books a year. And sell them that way for $10 to $15. You'd be doing a lot better, but they don't want to listen to that. Hey, Pete, how you doing? Just looking up a manga book for MHAs, 180 to 200 pages. Get one for $15 max. Yeah, then they're black and white. Some of them are even in color. Who cares? Bring back Weird Wars. Oh, fuck yeah, that book was awesome. And the Unknown Soldier and the Creature Commandos. But they can't do that because their woke narrative won't let them. Story, yeah. It's very antithetical to what they are now. But we've hit the 2-hour mark and I'm out of stories. So I've already gone way longer than I thought I was going to, but I got on a lot of tangents and rambled. So sorry, Pete. I know you just got here, but I'm out of stuff to ramble on about. But thank you for coming out, everybody. I appreciate it quite a bit. Thanks for all the likes and shares. Even the dislikes for some reason that hurt me in the algorithm. But thank you for the donations and just showing up every time. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, dude, I loved Weird Wars. My brother had a bunch of those when I was a kid. But hopefully you enjoyed the show, and hopefully we will see you on the next one. Thanks for coming out, guys.